What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 16 of my Mobile career mode, and we're here at the start of season 2 finally. Here we are already setting up the calendar for the season. This year we're gonna start the season in Bahrain, and then we'll hop down to Australia, then to Canada, and then already in Europe. And here are the settings for the championship. And now let's jump into the lineups. We'll begin with Cadillac and then move forward. Their drivers for this second season will be Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez, and they will be powered by Ferrari. And now let's jump further to Audi. They have their own engine and their drivers are Gabriel Bortoleto and Nico Hülkenberg. And here are their helmets. And now the next team, Racing Bulls, they are powered with Ford. And their drivers are Liam Lawson and myself with our helmets. And then we've got Alpine with their new Mercedes engine and their drivers Slava and Pierre Gasly. And here are their helmets. And now move to Williams. They've got Mercedes engine and their drivers are Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. And now let's move to Aston Martin. They have got a new engine too. They're powered by Honda this year and their drivers Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. And here are their helmets. And now let's move to Red Bull, one of the top teams already, with Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar, the new engine partner Ford, and also the helmets. And then let's move to McLaren. Their drivers are Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. The engine is Mercedes. And then we've already got Mercedes. They've got Andrea Kimi Antonelli and George Russell as their drivers, and they are a works team, so they have got their own engine. And then we've got Ferrari. They are also a works team, so they've got their own engine with Paul David and Charles Leclerc as their drivers. Let's see what they can do this season as reigning Constructors World Champions. And then let's move to the last team on the grid, to Haas, with Oliver Behrman and Esteban Ocon, and the engine is also Ferrari. And then let's check out the lineup overall in a nice graphic. Here is it. And now let's check out the calendar once again. We've got 2 sprints this year in Canada and in the season finale in Brazil. Here we are on our first run of the new season in a qualifying, and we are gonna do it on the medium tires to save the softs for the race later on. And in the first sector we are already very quick. Down to turn 10 we go now into the most difficult corner of the track, onto this straight where we activate our straight mode again. Into turn 11, into the third sector we go now. There's a driver ahead of me who is doing not so fast. And now into the final corner, onto the main straight we go again, activating the straight mode. Down to the line, where will we end up? And it's P1, provisional pole position. And these are the Q1 results. In the end, there are not so many surprises. No, there's a surprise. Charles Leclerc in P21. What the hell? What did he do in the Ferrari? Anyways, let's jump into Q2. Into the first corner we go, and there's a Mercedes slowing down massively, and he's holding me up, and I spin him out. What the hell is wrong with the car? No, but in the end we somehow managed to still get in the fastest lap, although it's a tenth slower than our run in Q1, but still it's enough for P1. And here are the Q2 results. There are not so many surprises in this qualifying session, so let's jump into Q3 and then run wide on the final corner of the lap as we go onto the start finish straight, activating the straight mode and using a bit more of ES to recover our lost time. And in the end, it's a 1 minute 30. What a crazy lap time this is! The fastest lap time ever set in this weekend. and in the end we're down to P6 as you had a penalty from previously in the Q3 run. You'll see it later. Here we are on race day for the race. Here is the starting grid, and here you can see it why I got the 5th place grid penalty. In the end we'll start P6. My teammate managed to get into P11. He got knocked out by the other Ferrari. I think it was Paul David, who narrowly managed to get into Q3. And here are the 5 red lights. And when they go off, the race is on here for round 1 of season 2, and we get a horrible start, another horrible start, same as in the showcase with you previously. And into turn 1 we go, we make a massive dive bomb, and then we nearly get spun out in turn 2, and we lose more positions. Even my teammate nearly overtakes me as we go up into turn 4, side by side with my teammate into turn 4, and he's ahead of me for a brief moment. Also the Alpine of Slava is now ahead of me. We lose so many positions. I think we're down to P14 with so many positions lost. And now into the hairpin we overtake Slava and side by side with my teammate, and now we also overtake the Haas and also a Mercedes, and we're up to P10 I think, something like this. And now into turn 10 side by side with the Williams, but he gets a better exit on the outside and stays in front of me for now, and the Mercedes had a little look to re-overtake me. Luckily we cut across and can defend him from overtaking me, so we go now into turn 11 right behind the Williams and in front of the Mercedes, trying to manage to overtake someone instead of being overtaken. As we go into the next corner, we're closing on the Williams. Can we overtake him down this straight? We use a bit of overtake, and also the straight mode is activated now. Can we overtake him somewhere? No, not yet. But as we go onto the main straight, as we complete lap 1 and begin lap 2 now, can we overtake him? We use overtake again. But the Williams is still gaining time, and the Mercedes behind me is catching up, as you see on the arrow. But now finally we gain speed, and now we overtake the Williams down into turn 1, and also have a look on the Audi side by side. We nearly make a double overtake into turn 2 side by side with the Audi. But he gets a better run. He has more energy left on me, and now also the Williams comes back again into turn 4 side by side with the Williams. And now can we also overtake the Audi? We had a little look, but in the end we were just able to overtake Sainz. But now as we use overtake into the S corners, we can overtake Nico Hülkenberg too in the Audi, and now we're right behind Paul David in the Ferrari. We make a huge dive bomb into this corner, but we run wide. All 3 can gain the position back, and now we have to do the work all over again. Can we overtake the Williams into turn 10? No, we were too far away. But now with overtake, can we close up on the Williams? We're slightly closing. Into turn 11 we go. I had a little look on the inside, but no move yet to make. Stick behind Carlos Sainz for a while as we cut onto the final corner of the lap as we begin lap 3 now. Can we now overtake him, as we have got a little bit more energy left that we deployed on the beginning of the lap? But no, we're not really closing. Into turn 1 we'll make a dive bomb on the Carlos Sainz into turn 1, and we overtake him. And now also Paul David. Can we also overtake the Ferrari driver as we go up to the second straight mode zone? He's gaining time as our battery is empty once again. Into turn 4 we go. We're closing a little bit, but as we come to the end of lap 3, we've saved a bit more energy, and now we can deploy everything we've got. Can you overtake the Ferrari into turn 1? We're closing and closing. Meanwhile, we're also setting a new personal best time. Into turn 1, we'll nearly make a double overtake. We're squeezing the Audi of Nico Hülkenberg a little bit, and now Paul David comes back, but we overtake Paul David, and we're now right behind Nico Hülkenberg, side by side with the German. Into turn 4 we go. Can we overtake him? We had a little look, but we are not able as we were too far away. A lap later, we're closing, and we're closing with the overtake. We're closing rapidly, but as we go into the S corners, we lose momentum, and so he stays in front of me. But into the hairpin, we had a little look on the inside to close up a little bit further, but another lap later, so we had to wait another lap to overtake him. As we go to the S corners again on the exit, we use a little bit of overtake, and so we are now finally ahead of Nico Hülkenberg after 2 laps of trying. And now next up ahead is Oscar Piastri, who's 2 seconds away, but Nico Hülkenberg comes back. He has a look on the outside, around the outside, the Audi driver, side by side with the German, and he overtakes me. He destroys me around the outside. Oh man, this is insane. But we've got plenty of energy left. Into turn 11, I had a little look, but he defends the inside line and stays in front of me for another half lap. As we are closing again, into turn 4 this time. Can we overtake him? Into turn 4, we'll make a huge launch down to the inside. Side by side with the Audi. No, a little bit of overtake used again. Side by side into the S corners. And we have to brake earlier, but we run wide into the gravel. And he overtakes me again around the outside. But now I have a look on the inside again. Side by side with the German. Into turn 10, side by side we get a better run. And we are ahead of him finally again. Into turn 10, we run wide again. But I think we're safe now. I think we can stay in front of him. Down this straight, he's closing and closing. We have to defend the inside line around the outside. Can he overtake me? No, he can't. Yes, amazing. We're finally overtaking him. No, he had a little look again on the inside, but I think we are safe now in P6 unless someone overtakes him again. But here we go. Nico Hülkenberg re-overtakes me into the final corner, and also Andrea Kimi Antonelli had a little look as we go on the inside. We had a little look on Hülkenberg. Instead, Antonelli re-overtakes me, and we're down to P8. But now we have to overtake. We can re-overtake Antonelli, and we're also closing on Nico Hülkenberg as we begin lap 8. Side by side with the German once again. In the turn 1, who breaks later? It's me, but Nico Hülkenberg hangs around the outside. But us with the inside line, we can overtake him. And we're finally up to P6. And Antonelli also overtakes Hülkenberg. Now he has lost 2 positions in one corner. And now we run wide in the turn 4. Antonelli uses it and overtakes me. Into the S corners, we're not done yet. I'm trying to hang around the outside, but he squeezes me, so I have to try another move as we use a little bit of overtake. Into the hairpin, we'll make a huge launch down to the inside. Can you switch back? No, he can't. No, he can. He can switch back, but we use the overtake and can overtake it, but then we run wide. And now we are again on the outside and he overtakes me. We've got a little bit of energy left. Can we use it to close in on him? No, instead he's gaining time. So we can't make a move yet. But we'll have to regenerate some battery to overtake him somewhere as we calm down on the turn 3 and turn 4 and we nearly lose the car. We get caught each other and nearly lose both of our cars. He stays in front of me, but we make a switchback move, a beautiful switchback move onto this straight into the S corners, and we now have got enough energy left to deploy it and stay in front of him and overtake him. But I think he's not done with me yet as he's closing into the hairpin. Side by side we defend the inside line, and he had a little look around the outside. He hangs around the outside and overtakes me. He destroys me again, but now we use our overtake to re-overtake him, so we didn't lose too much time in the end. Now he's again closing as our battery is nearing to the end. In turn 11, he hangs around the outside again, but we can defend it this time fine, luckily. While the fighting going on, we lose so much time to the front runners. Hopefully we can now push away, but no, Antonelli comes back on the final corner around the outside, but he gives me the boost mode, so we can use more energy and overtake him somewhere as we come down to the final corner, and we have massive rear lock. Antonelli can use it to re-overtake, but then he brakes massively in turn 2 and I can hang around the outside, but then he re-overtakes me again as he uses way more energy than me. For now he can still stay in front of me, but I've got a plan again to overtake him somewhere as we are closing again with the overtake into the S corners. We go, here we go, lining up a move, side by side, we use the overtake, and we are ahead of him into the hairpin. This was my plan, a perfect plan. And now, can he hang around the outside? No, we defend the inside line with the overtake a little bit, and now, again, defending, into turn 10, he hangs around the outside, but we defend him. Well, this time we cut off his line, and we can stay in front of him. Now with a bit more of energy, we defend into turn 11, and we can stay in front of him. What a perfect strategy this is. Into the final corner we go once again, and he had a little look on the inside, and then switches to the outside, and destroys me again, as we go on to the start finish line. To begin lap 11, and he's also gaining, but then we also overtake him to regain the time, and then we also re-overtake him as we had enough energy to deploy it down the straight. Into turn 1 we go. he had a little look around also, but this time in turn 2 we can finally create some breathing room. And then here we go, as Oscar Piastri comes to the pits, we make up one place, and then up later George Russell comes to the pits. So we make up another place which elevates us up to P4. And another lap later, Verstappen comes to the pits, so we are up to P3 now. Every lap, one driver comes to the pits. This is perfect. Another lap later, Lando Norris comes to the pits, so we are up to P2. Now it's just Isaac Hadjar left, who's in front of me, but we're already closing, nevertheless, on him. As we come to the final corner, run wide as we get distracted by a back marker. But somehow we managed to stay in front of him. And here we are. We caught up to Isaac Hadjar and they overtake him right away. We are already in front of him before the breaking point of the hairpin. So we can hopefully stay in front of him. But I don't deploy energy to let him repass me for the boost mode onto the start finish straight later. He hangs around the outside and this time we don't defend it. We'll just let it happen. But now we use a little bit of energy so he doesn't gain too much time on us, because we need that boost mode. Into the final corner we go. Here we get the boost mode. The battery indicator switches to blue, which signals me to have more energy. And now we can, even with low ERS mode, overtake him down to the first corner. So this is perfect that we had this boost mode. Into turn 1 we go, side by side with the Red Bull driver. He can hang around the outside as we leave him enough room, and then we can hang around the outside and overtake him, and we're finally leading the race for the first time today in this race, by the way. And a lap later, Isaac Hadjar comes to the pits, so we do another lap, and then we'll also come to the pits to follow him and cover him off as we switch to the soft tires. And out of the pits we go. It's getting close between me and Isaac Hadjar as he's coming with full speed down to turn 1, nearly side by side into turn 1 as he's closing up massively, but somehow we managed to stay in front of him, and it's 1.5 seconds the gap between me and him, so we are able to stay in front of him. And there's a sudden safety car as we are nearing the end of the race. No one has DNF'd and the safety car still came out. Very strange. But I think the safety car is random or something. And there's a timer running down, so we have to catch up to the safety car. And then the timer is away again. But the safety car runs wide a little bit into turn 1. Very strange. And as the safety car comes in, we're already on the final lap. This is already the final lap. We've just got a few meters left down to the line, and we win the Bahrain Grand Prix after the safety car comes in. What the hell? I see that for the first time. Safety car comes in on the final lap.
Unbelievable. What a race. You deserve this one.
These are the results. So in the end we win the race by a second to Isaac Hadjar, because suddenly the safety car came out and stayed till the final lap. Very interesting. And Charles Leclerc made it up to P6 starting from P21. What a insane comeback from him. Here are the Constructors' Championship standings. We begin the season in P2, just 3 points behind Red Bull.